Hey everyone, it's Stephanie Lee, and you are tuned into the review of Love is Blind. For those of you who are new, my name is Stephanie Lee. I am a therapist and relationship expert, and I usually do reviews on Married at First Sight. If you are not new, hi guys again. Okay, so before we get started, you guys got me. I mean, you guys have hunted me down on every platform. I've gotten emails, I've gotten Instagram DMs and Facebook posts and questions on YouTube because to do these reviews for Love is Blind. And I was holding off because as I get further along in my pregnancy, I'm like trying to take stuff off of my plate. So I pretty much kept ignoring the request, but you guys have prevailed because I'm gonna do the reviews for this show. I'm gonna do them in sets of 2 though. I'm gonna do like every couple of episodes. I actually watched the first 3 episodes last night. I see why you guys wanted me to review it. It's a really, really good show. But I won't be doing any new shows. The only thing is I have one new project that I'm working on. But other than that, through the rest of the reviews, I'm probably just going to do Married at First Sight. I'm going to do Love is Blind. And then this new project that I'm working on that you guys will find out. And then we'll go from there. So thank you all for requesting it because it lets me know that you value my content and my thoughts. I give a mix of professional and personal. You know, I think that reality TV is kind of fun. Sometimes it's, you know, it's a little crazy, but I always try to watch it from the perspective of what can we learn from watching this? We're watching it anyways, right? And sometimes we point the finger and say, what a train wreck. And a lot of times we are mirroring those things in our lives and we can't see it. And so sometimes when you connect by watching and saying, what am I getting out of this? Or how do I show up in my life, in my relationships like this? Then we can make it something that is so much more than reality TV. So let's kick off the review. Well, before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification button so that you can be the first to find out when I post these videos. Once again, thanks for sending gifts for baby Lee. We are so grateful. We still got a ways to go, but doing well so far. And so let's get started. So I'm 3 episodes in to Love is Blind, okay? I had to stop myself because I wanted to at least do a first review on what I've seen so far, but it's a really, really good show. I really, really like it. I love the concept. Whether it's real or not, I'm not going to get into that because, you know, we can play that game all day long. We're still watching, so we can still get something out of it. But I really like the concept. I think where we are finding, especially those of us who are watching season 10 of Married at First Sight, where we are finding where we're struggling to watch this season because it just feels a little bit like a train wreck. This show kind of picks up in a way where people have more time to make a decision that is so final. Even though, yes, people get divorced, etc., but they are getting to know each other before they actually make this full commitment. So the premise of the show is having 2 sets of groups, the men and the women, in separate houses, and they don't even get to see each other, but they get to date through these pods. So there are these pods where they're in this room and there's a glass in between them, but it's like a frosted glass. You can't see each other. So basically it's almost like blind dates. Hello, Love is Blind. It's like blind dates. What I think is so cool about this though, if you guys really take a look at it, whether you have watched it already or you're starting to watch it like me, is some of it kind of feels like a therapy session in the sense that no one is there and they are sitting here as they deepen their conversation. They're sitting here sharing some of their deepest secrets or things that they have struggled with or areas where they self-sabotage or, you know, some traumas of the past and maybe why they've struggled to be in relationships. And even though there's not a therapist on the other side or maybe someone who has that type of, you know, perspective or understanding of people, I think the setting makes for the ability to really be transparent and be naked. Like they could literally be naked in that room and they would be comfortable, sans the cameras, because nobody's there to see. And even when you're sitting with a therapist, I've sat with many people who want to impress me or they want to know about me and they get distracted by what's around, or they say, well, you know so much about me, how about you answer these questions? There's none of that. There's none of these distractions. And with somebody that you're into, there's not the distraction of, oh, I'm not attracted to this person, or I'm very attracted to this person and I can't focus on anything else. I'm thinking about sex. I'm thinking about what kissing them would be like, or whatever the case may be. It is so blanket, which I really, really like, because I don't think I've ever seen anything like this before. And I think that it takes away the opportunity to be distracted by the visual aesthetic, which is important. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's not. It is important, but I think it sets them up to really make a true connection, and then really maybe question where they've been going wrong. We've had some people on this season thus far that say, this is not traditionally the person, after they commit to this person, this is not the person I normally go for, but we have such a deep emotional connection that binds us that I'm now willing to a little bit essentially get over myself because what I've been going for has not worked. So I really like that whole aspect, because people just get to literally be themselves. And let's be real. There's probably a little bit of a front, because you are dating with a purpose. So you're hoping that the person likes you, but it is a lot more transparent than I think it would have been otherwise. And it just goes to show, these shows continue to tell you that people are desperate for connection. Yes, some people might have ulterior motives, but also people are desperate for connection, desperate to build a life with someone, get to a different space in their life, and that's not going to go away. A lot of people, I think society right now is cynical and, make fun of marriage or make fun of relationships, and it's usually miserable people, but they tend to think that they don't last or they're not significant anymore, and the world is built on relationships, period. There's no way around it. So it just shows you how much people are willing to go through to really be with someone, how significant it is to them. All right, so let's kick it off with the first couple as they date each other. And I'm just going to quickly say it. They date each other. They get to know each other. They get to choose who they really like. And then they get to connect and eventually get engaged. So throughout this whole courting process, if they really feel like, okay, I've dated all these people and talked to all these people, gotten to know them, and there's this person that I love, and a lot of them say it 5, 6 days, 10 days in, I love this person, and I think that's a different conversation for a different time, but to each their own. Then they get engaged, and then the next day they're able to see each other. So they don't really even know who they're engaged to, and then all the couples get whisked off to Cancun, where I assume they really get to spend time together, get to know each other in a different way now that they can actually have some FaceTime, and then the weddings. That's the premise. I have not watched past season 3, so I don't want to know anything. I'm going to post this review, but I don't really want to know anything. I'm going to kind of jump and watch the next episode so I can be on, because I know the finale already aired. I already know one couple is actually together, so I was just like, okay, let me just be as tunnel vision as I can be with this. So the first couple that actually gets engaged is Cameron and Lauren. So Cameron is a scientist. I believe he's 28. I'm not going to remember these age because pregnancy brains. So I'm going to give you what I can recall, okay? He's a scientist. He's 28. He seems like a really nice guy, ready for love, ready to settle down with someone. The person that he connects with is Lauren. I don't remember how old Lauren is. She's from Detroit. The interesting thing is that they're an interracial couple. So they end up being an interracial couple. She is a black woman. He is a white man. And her thing is that she has never been with a white man before. And though her normal type in the past, she didn't date anybody outside of her race. She has found herself in love with this man and emotionally connected to this man who happens to be white. She brings it up, but they don't really make that big of a deal of it. She kind of says this is probably something that she'll have to adjust to, and friends and family. And there's still some societal issues with that from, people. Not that they really matter, but, just navigating that. And they're going to have to learn how to navigate that. But they have an instant connection and they feel so organic. I really, really like them. When they see each other, it's like fireworks. They have a really good couples chemistry to me. He's so happy to be engaged to her. It was really sweet to watch them connect. I mean, it felt effortless for Lauren and Cameron. So I really, really like them. They're like my favorite couple right now. But I'm new. This is new. But yes, they are great together. They get whisked off pretty much. She's the first woman that gets engaged on there. He's very kind of like scientific, so he's kind of checking to see if this really works. Can I really emotionally connect with someone who I've never seen before? And they both are like, listen, we've done it this way. It hasn't worked. We're trying it this way, and we're going to roll with it. Like, we're going to take full advantage of this opportunity that we have put ourselves in. So I'm looking forward to seeing more from Lauren and Cameron, but I really, really like them. I don't know. It's just something about them. It's not scientific, pun intended, but it's just something about them that I really like, and I think that they look great together, and they're really like genuinely happy to have met each other and have connected. So that is Lauren and Cameron. Next we have, and I have a little cheat sheet because there's a lot of them right now. Next we have Jessica and Mark. So Jessica is 34 years old, and she emotionally connected to this guy named Mark. Mark is 24. So here's the interesting thing about them. There's this one guy on here, Barnet. If you guys have watched, you know Barnet. Barnet is like the playboy of all playboys, okay? And I will get to him. But Barnet has connected with several women, one of them being Jessica. So the thing that I noticed with Jessica and Mark, the guy that she actually got engaged to, is that they connected on really strong levels, really strong foundational levels. She has never dated a guy younger than her, so that's like the big red flag for her. But they connected on the type of life they want. They've connected on being from the same place. They're both from Illinois. They've connected on how they want to, having children, almost the number of children. They have connected on faith, the way that they want to raise their kids and what they find to be important. The moment that I saw that, I was like, okay, this is it. I know that him being 24, which is a significant age difference for her, it's 10 years younger, and women tend to be more mature, like just from the jump. He's very mature though, but women just tend to be like, a few years ahead just from the jump. I know that that's a big red flag for her, but emotionally I think that they connect really well. And I think that she saw that as well, and it surprised her that they connected so well, because she would have counted him out if she would have met him somewhere. And so you could see that she was really happy with him. He's like head over heels in love with her. This is exactly who he wants. He loves her voice. He loves the fact that they vibe. And when I started hearing some of the stuff that they connected on that was beyond surface, I said, okay, I could see this really working, because this is the stuff that counts. Like when you get together, it's great that you both like skiing, and we both love to travel, and that stuff is very cute, except like the stuff that gets in the way is politics and religion and how you want to raise kids and if you want children and how many children you want. So the fact that they were able to connect on that deeper level and be pretty much congruent with their, perspectives, I thought that was great. Barnet. Barnet sneaks in, and he is very charming, okay? In true player fashion, he's very charming. And so he gets Jessica to do what I assume. And at this point, you guys know if you've watched me before, I'm yelling at the TV. I'm saying all this stuff out loud. I paused it so many times because I just couldn't help myself. But she does what I assume is the thing that she does all the time. She gets something good and she sabotages it in some capacity because it needs to look the way that she wants it to look or feel the way that she wants it to feel, which is somewhat dysfunctional. Because here's the thing. Barnet is not really giving her anything deep. He's giving her surface stuff. He's giving her like Player's Handbook 101, and he's great at it. So great that he gets her to second guess a real solid connection that she has with somebody else based on real foundational stuff. He gets her to second guess that enough to almost sabotage that relationship. And so he even pretty much says, I would marry you tomorrow. I would ask you to marry me tomorrow. Or, he pretty much gets her to cut off other relationships and just focus on him. except he's not doing the same. Barnett doesn't do the same. Barnett is connecting with everyone, okay? Barnett is connect four. He's got like 3 or 4 women that really thinks that he walks on water. And I think that's a problem that a lot of women can do. I think we've gotten better in the past, but a lot of women tend to do that, where they focus on one guy who has not given them the same respect or the same type of focus as well. He didn't cut off other women, yet she is willing to cut off someone who's willing to cut off everyone for her and put her on a pedestal and value her. And she's not really sure. So she ends up sabotaging that relationship. What irritates me with Jessica is that she is inauthentic in the way that she presents. When she says, okay, when Barnett gives her what she needs in terms of like this little crumb that makes her question her situation with Mark, she goes with Mark and says this bogus thing about like people are getting hurt, and she doesn't even come out and say it, and that irritated me. Just say, you know what, I want to explore my options. She eventually gets to it, but it's not direct, it's like circular. And she doesn't want people to get hurt, and she wants to make sure that she doesn't get hurt, and she wants to know that, you know, maybe there's somebody else. And so he's hurt because the day before, Mark says, you know, would you marry me if I asked you? And she says yes. Even her yes is apprehensive, because I'm thinking she's still with the number. She's still with, he's 24. I don't really know. He's not normally my type. I'm not really sure. You know, he's Mexican. She is white. I don't know if that's a thing. She never brings it up, but it doesn't mean that it's not a thing just because she didn't say it. She knows she's on TV, so I don't know. But, you know, there's these things that are a little unsure for her, and so she's willing to give up something that she knows is significant, that you can see she's connected to, in order to see something that could possibly work, because he gives her butterflies, but in a very, very surface-like way. Mark is really upset, understandably so, because he's wondering, like, when did this happen? And I literally paused and I told my husband, I said, she's gonna mess this up. At least temporarily, she's gonna mess this up. She's gonna go back to Barnett. And I said, watch Barnett not even choose her. Your girl is never wrong, okay, or rarely wrong. I could be wrong sometimes, but exactly what happened is what happened. She meets Barnett in her white dress. She didn't. I'm making it up. I'm being a little bit of a jerk. She walks into the room ready to give him the best that she's got. And he's saying, I don't really know, because I'm connected to you, and, you know, you, so-and-so, and so-and-so. So at this point, he's connected to 3 people. She leaves frustrated, completely like embarrassed, egg on her face, embarrassed. And she circles back to Mark. And even the way she circles back is just so, it's not even like, authentic is the word that I come up with for her, because I wish she would have come up and said, you know what, I thought I had a connection with somebody else, and I'm sorry that I jeopardized what we really have to go check that out in a way that hurt you, but I really want to make this work. I really care about you, and I realize that that's not it. No. She comes back, she calls him babe 1,000 times. He can pick up on the crap. And he, you know, says, I know what I'm worth. I know what I bring to the table. And he makes her sweat it out just a little bit. But eventually, Jessica and Mark get together. He proposes to her. Listen, I don't believe that yes was like a genuine, excited yes. I think if Barnett would have asked her to marry, she would have been like very happy. But I think she's happy because she really does like Mark. And a lot of what he brings to the table is what she wants and what she needs. But I think there's a lot of apprehension there. If you even see where she is positioned when she says yes. And she takes a long time to even say yes. If you've watched the show, then you know in the pods there's this glass and there are things around tables, and then there's this couch, this little table, this couch, and then behind the couch is the door. She is behind the couch. Everyone else is like as close to the glass as they can get to, or standing right in front of the glass. Like, I can't connect with this person because there's this, you know, separation between us, but God, I'm just going to try to get as close as I can. She's as far as she can be physically from where he is. And I know that body language speaks so clearly, okay? Body language speaks far loudly than our words do. And her words did not match up. She's crying. She says yes. And I really think she's just like, thank God. You know, she's like second to last pick from dodgeball. And all she wanted was not to be the last pick for dodgeball, because that means nobody really wanted you on their team. So she's not the last pick. She's the second to last pick, and she is excited about it. And she says yes. And I feel bad because Mark is not going to get the best version of her because she's not really committed to getting over herself. She doesn't want to be left alone. She's 35. You know, everybody in their 30s, every woman in her 30s is being attacked as with what time they have left for anything. You know, we all know that. So I know that's going on in her mind. She's already saying she's ready for a family, and she just didn't want to leave alone. And she doesn't get what, like, a gift thus far, based on what I've seen, she's actually gotten with somebody who's mature, who knows what he wants, who's willing to you know, take her back, not without setting some boundaries and sharing how he's feeling, but who's able to take her back and say, listen, I care about you. I'm a good guy. Like, I'm in this. I want you. And, you know, she doesn't really know what a gift she has just yet. Nonetheless, they see each other. It's a beautiful reunion. And they're excited. And yeah, so they get swooped off to Cancun as well. That's Jessica and Mark. I mean, I see trouble ahead for them because of Jessica, to be honest. We'll see. I don't know. But I'll leave that with them for now. Okay, so that's Jessica and Mark. Next we have Damien and Giannina, I believe. So I think Giannina is from Venezuela. I don't remember where Damien is from. She's 25. I believe he's 28. I could be making that up. He seems like a very nice guy, very sweet guy. I think he is a little apprehensive about if she would find a problem with him or if she would feel like he's sufficient enough or tall enough. So there's some insecurity there, and maybe that's just due to past history of like dating and being told that he wasn't, maybe he's not tall enough or maybe he's not handsome enough. Whatever it is, he's just really apprehensive about his presentation. With Giannina, she is young, but she's kind of like an old soul in some ways. She's an interesting character. She's a wild card. She's gonna bring the funny because she kind of says whatever, and it's hilarious. She kind of says what a lot of people are thinking in terms of like just being wild and young and free. She talks a lot about self-sabotage. And I really like that she recognizes that she has that, because a lot of people self-sabotage and they don't know that they do it until they go on doing it and they can't figure it out. For her, I'm so glad that she's able to see that. I just hope that that's not like a crutch that she uses, because it comes up several times. And every time we see him kind of moving forward in the dialogue, she will say, well, this is what I normally do. This is what I've done. Here's the reason why I've done this thing. And so I don't want it to be like a sense of awareness that I know my issue, but then I rely on having that issue in order not to move forward and get over whatever hump I'm trying to get over or move through. So her parents, I believe, are divorced, so she talks a little bit about that. She felt kind of inadequate moving from Venezuela in this country and being made fun of and not feeling good enough and feeling insecure. So they have some similarities there. Once again, the wild card switches it up because they fall in love, you know, and he proposes and she ends up, you know, kind of mid-proposal tells him to stand up and she proposes. It was interesting. Okay, I didn't know where she was going with that. But of course, he says yes. They love seeing each other. She finds him attractive. He finds her attractive. They have like a good jovial little time together. It remains to be seen for me how they'll develop. I think I need to know more about Damien. I just hope that she's not bringing her baggage to the table. Like, yes, there are these things you tend to do. Historically, you self-sabotage, but in being aware of that, now we can move beyond that and not have to do that, or you know, jump right in knowing, okay, I have the tendency to do this. I'm scared right now, but I'm still going to do it because I trust you. I trust this process, and I trust that this is a relationship that I want to be in. So that is Giannina and Damien. So then we have Kenny and Kelly. So I forgot what Kenny does. Kenny is 27 though. Kelly is, I believe, a health coach, and she talks about some insecurities with accepting herself. She said she lost 40 pounds, so she used to be overweight. And I know that probably played a significant part in her not accepting herself and feeling not accepted by others. And her thing was, I want to be accepted based on what people see, not necessarily just in general, but she's thinking I'm comfortable here because he can't see me and I'm getting to know him, but I hope that he accepts what he sees. So we still see that maybe there's like a little dysformic thought process there, or the way that she sees herself, where I hope, but it seems incongruent with what she really looks like versus what she used to look like. Maybe she's still like mentally in that old body, or not necessarily where she is. But he proposes. I mean, they get together, they get to know each other. He talks about feeling alone, not having someone to really talk to, having to hold things in, and she matches that as well. So they're in alignment with wanting to connect with someone and feeling like they have a person. And I think that's beautiful. I hope that it turns into something that is an interdependent relationship where they can rely on each other in a healthy way, but still have other resources, rather than it becoming codependent, because it's like, now you're my person. I didn't have that before. Now here, bear my cross, and you bear my cross, and now, that won't work long term. But they seem to get together real easily. They're both attracted to each other. They're having a good time. They seem to be really sweet and in it to win it. So that's Kenny and Kelly. There's nothing that really stuck out to me that was like a red flag, but if you guys remember something, please let me know. So let's see. So we have Barnet and Amber. So Barnet and Amber. Barnet is the playboy, as you guys know. Barnet, I don't know why Barnet is on this show, okay? I like Barnet, though. I think he's fun. I think he's cool. He's a great friend. I don't know why Barnet is on this show, because Barnet is not ready to settle down, okay? Barnet is playing the field. He's keeping it surface, but he's requesting that other women go deeper with him. Like, one of his concerns, he connected with like 3 or 4. 3 for sure. Amber, who he did choose, Jessica, and Lindsay, LC. And he liked different things about them. But one of the things he was saying that he liked about Amber but did not like about Jessica, or missed with Jessica, was a lack of depth. So he's wanting these deeper connections, yet he's providing none of them, okay? He doesn't go deep. One of the things that I noticed with him was when Amber talked about being in a previous relationship where she thought that was like the end-all be-all, and she had gotten pregnant, and the guy was in fix-it mode, meaning he did not want her to keep the child, and she ended up getting an abortion, and she was very sad about it and hurt and depressed, as she talked about her experiences. At the beginning, when she started to choke up before she really got into the story, Barnet is like, I got you, like, come on and share, because he can feel that she's gonna go there. When she actually went there, he didn't have her. He didn't have her. He stayed quiet. And I was like, okay, maybe they're going to come back to the scene and he's going to give her something. She's crying. She's talking about the worst time in her life. She's hoping that she doesn't ever end up with a guy who would put her in a position like that, instead of celebrating new life and wanting to do life with her. We never got that out of Barnet. Barnet said, I got you until you actually need me. And then Barnet was nowhere to be found. He didn't give much. Not only did he not give much, in that moment, he didn't give much at all. Like, what do we know about Barnet except that he struggles to give something? Barnet, it's like, my question for him is, who hurt you? Like, who hurt you? When did it happen? Let's talk about it. Like, he needs some sort of participation in some sort of like experiential type of a thing where he is like getting in touch with self, or he needs therapy, because he is emotionally blocked. So I'm thinking, you're here to make deep connections, yet you're not even connected to yourself, not deeply. We see it's there though. The possibility is there. He's a nice guy. He's funny. I don't think he means to be harmful. He doesn't seem malicious, but he's not connected with self. And when he gets there, you see like some emotion. You saw some tears a few times because he's frustrated with himself, but he has yet to know how to get emotionally connected to himself to where he can communicate it effectively, or even identify it. Sometimes when you ask people how they feel, they say, I don't know. It's not necessarily because they don't want to tell you. Sometimes they don't know. So a big step in becoming more communicative and becoming more emotional is identifying the emotion. What is this? What does this feel like? Can I put a name to it so that I can now move past it? I don't see, Barnett hasn't done that, okay? Not only that, Barnett said something like, I didn't think I would propose to anyone here. Barnett, what are you doing here? What did you come for? Did you read the contract? Like, the goal is to get to a point where you could. Now, everybody who came did not match up with someone, but for him to have such connections with other people, like, clearly he's somebody who could have matched up with someone, and he's not ready to do that. And it's fine if you're not, but just don't take the place of someone who is ready to do that. I think Barnett is not even ready to be married. I think that, even the way he asked, Amber has a lot of stuff that she has gone through. She has shared a lot. She's kind of giving the best that she has to this process, and she's with somebody who is going to give her just enough. And she thinks she likes that. Like, she even says when they met up, because he did propose, and even the way he proposed, he got on one knee exhausted, probably with himself. And it's just like, will you marry me? Like, I was just like, what? Is this real? It doesn't even feel like I've come. It was almost like you have to say something to one of these girls. You have to choose one of them. And so he chose Amber. It didn't feel like something that was intentionally well thought out and he was ready for. It was like, okay, I'm just gonna, almost like he spun around and walked to the piñata, and he just happened to get the bullseye. And she's really happy, and they see each other and they're happy, but I think he's still in shock that he even went through it. That's concerning. And she's excited, and she's like, he gives me such a hard time, or she doesn't say hard time, but he's not easy, okay? And he is interesting character. And I think maybe her past probably includes some sort of interesting dynamic that lends itself to being difficult, and that being a positive thing when it doesn't have to be difficult. It really shouldn't be difficult. There are areas of relationships that are difficult, but it shouldn't have to be difficult just to commit to someone, especially when this is what you guys are here for. Hello, we're here for that. So I'm like, I hope she doesn't get pulled into that, thinking that that's a good thing. It's I want to say it seems cute now, but it doesn't even seem cute when you can really see it for what it is. I don't know. They're happy with each other, though. They're very attracted to each other. So we'll see how that goes. I hope we see more of the real Barnett, because that's the only way that he will be able to maintain a relationship and possibly get married, and that's the only way that they can actually develop their relationship. So we shall see. He finally chose somebody, though, and it's Amber, so they are engaged. So that is Barnett and Amber. Last but not least, we have Diamond and Carlton. So Diamond is from Chicago, I believe. She is a professional dancer, and what else? She's sporty, she's fun, she's outspoken, she's very feminine, but she also, you could tell she also could hang with the guys. She doesn't take herself too seriously. She's a straight shooter. She got emotional. I forgot what she was talking about, but she was pretty transparent in the areas that she struggled in. And she ends up connecting with Carlton. Carlton, I forgot where Carlton is from. I want to say Atlanta, but I really could be making that up. But Carlton is here ready for love, I guess. He is, let's just get to it, because the one thing that sticks out to me about Carlton is that he discloses to the cameras that he has dated both men and women in the past. So he's fluid. So he is basically ready to settle down. He doesn't want to do this whole dating back and forth thing. He wants to commit. He wants the wife, the kids, the picket fence. He wants to kind of move forward in his life. So clearly he's had time where, okay, I did my thing, and now I want to settle down. I want to find a woman that I can be authentic with. And I don't have to beat around the bush. And they seem to have a genuine connection, because Carlton went on a date with another girl where, I don't even remember what girl it is, but he ended up leaving. The middle of one of her responses, he ended up leaving, and So he's not going to waste time with something that, or someone that he doesn't feel is even worth his time. He will literally walk out of the date and go on to someone new. So they found a connection. They're both kind of cheeky with each other, a little bit of a smartass with each other. He eventually proposes to her, and they see each other. They're both attracted to each other. They're happy they were matched. They kind of joke around together. They have a very casual thing together, okay? So that's it. That's Carlton and Diamond. Now, all these matches and all these dates and all these dynamics kind of took place within the first, I would say, 2.5 episodes. And then we get to the last 25-30 minutes of the third episode, where they're now all in Cancun. So they all get to go to this stunning resort in Cancun, and they get to really know each other. Okay, now we see each other. We know a lot about each other, all this time. But now you're in my face. So I get to see you, and I get to, spend time with you and figure out, is this something that I really want to do? We're technically engaged. I think they have 30 days till they get to the wedding. But we'll see, this is kind of just what it is. I don't know what they'll do, because I really try not to watch the previews because I don't want it to affect the review. But I assume they'll do activities and group stuff and spend time together because they're all at the same resort. And then we'll see how that matches up. The thing that I keep saying, because this happens in the third episode, and I'll probably, so this review is for episodes 1 through 3, obviously, and then I'll do the next couple of sets. The thing that I keep seeing a lot on social media, and what came up was Carlton's sexual orientation and Diamond's response to it, and how she should feel, and how she, should move along, and should she move along, and had he told her, and so on and so forth. Carlton eventually, he changes a little bit when he gets to the resort. He gets a little cheeky about it. He gets a little, almost like a little combative, not like intensely combative, but his energy shifts because he has this thing that he knows he needs to tell her. Mind you, he told the cameras before he proposed, but he got to know her, got engaged, and now he's gonna tell her at the resort. So you can tell he's almost like picking a fight in a way, even though he's not really trying to pick a fight. And she picks up on that, like, I don't know what's going on with him, but he's like, something has shifted, and she's like, I'm gonna go to the pool. Like, I don't want to be here. So he ends up meeting her down at the pool, and he tells her his fears and how she's such a great girl, and she's like the love of his life, and she may leave. So he's alluding to that. He has something to share with her, and he doesn't want it to change anything, but it could possibly change stuff. And so long story short, he gets very emotional, and so now she's pulled in because this is the guy that she loves. And so she's like, what is going on? I need to kind of like be here for you. And he's just saying, he has abandonment issues, and people have abandoned him left and right, and he doesn't want to be abandoned, and all, and he's very emotional. And then he kind of drops the bomb on her that he has dated in the past both men and women. Here's my personal opinion, because I don't really think professionally this matters. There's no professional opinion on this. My personal opinion on this is that he should have told her first. And I think it's not about being, because his thing is like, I want to be authentic, and I want to be 100% who I want to be no matter what. And when I'm not on this earth, I want to know that people remember me for being who I am. And that's beautiful. But you weren't that. You weren't authentic, because you took away her opportunity to choose. You took away her ability to choose. It's not who he is, it's how he's being it. And he's taking away the opportunity for her to make a choice based on what she wants. The same way that he can be whoever he wants, and that's great. She can choose whatever she wants. She can choose whether she wants to deal with somebody who has that history or where she doesn't, whether she's comfortable with it or where she isn't. He wants to be remembered for being authentic, but I think that he wasn't authentic because he hid that from her, knowing that it could be a possibility that she might not be okay with that. And so now you took away her choice, and now you're kind of turning it around so that it would be bad for her to make a choice that wasn't you, when that's not fair. It's not bad, it just is. You know, some people like tall people, skinny people, very curvaceous people, long hair, short hair. That dating someone who has a preference of being with everyone, that's your preference, whether you want to date someone like that or not. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with that either. There's nothing wrong with him having dated both. But my personal problem is that he should have told her first. The fact that he didn't is letting me know that he knows that that carries some weight, and he chose himself, and he chose not to be authentic. Because if you were 100% authentic, you would have just said, in a room where you didn't even see this person, where you really didn't have to hide it, and said, listen, in my past, I've dated both men and women. Is that something that you're okay with? Because then to me, it's like, what else are you hiding? Now I can't really trust you because you didn't give me the opportunity to choose. When he became emotional about it, I felt bad because I could tell that he was really struggling, and he's been hurt. However, on the other hand, I felt like even that was a little manipulative, because it was like, here's all of these emotions and all of this past, and you know, even talking about everyone has abandoned him, it almost puts her like in a corner. I've told you all of these things now. Now that I tell you this thing, don't do what I told you everybody else has been doing. It's not fair. It really isn't fair. I think if she was told at the beginning, then she could now choose to be authentic with you and say, you know what, that's cool. Like, I love you. I've connected with you. Not kind of holding something so major. It could be anything, okay? Let's take that off and say, what if he had a child on the way, but he's no longer with the woman? So he says, hey, you know, I have something to tell you. I have a baby on the way. Like, give her the choice. You should have told her that before you got engaged. And she could have said, well, you guys aren't in a relationship. I'll be there to support you, you know, as long as there's no inappropriate dealings. I can, you know, welcome that child into my life as well, and we can build a family together. Give a person a choice. Do not get caught up in what you think should be based on your own thought process, because everyone has the choice to choose. Everyone should have the opportunity to choose. It's not fair that it's one-sided, that because he's fluid, that she has to be okay with him being fluid. She can choose whatever she wants. He can choose, and he has chosen, and that's the thing. So I really didn't like kind of like the convoluted experience of that, because you weren't being authentic. You want to be authentic, and you want to say, I am being myself wholeheartedly, and I don't care, and I'm giving my all to this process, but you're not. So then I start thinking, well, what else? If you keep something that major, that she has the right to feel, you know, I do want to deal with that, and that's okay. It doesn't bother me, or I don't really want to deal with that. I'm not comfortable with that. Now she can't really do that. And now it becomes something else. And now it validates this narrative of everybody abandons me. But are you a part of that abandonment because you're not being truthful? And it may not just be about that. You might not be truthful about other things because it will mess up your agenda. And we can do that with other things, which is why I brought up the example of, you know, having a child on the way or whatever else we could be hiding. Well, let me hold that because I want them to get to know me for me. Well, part of you is that. So you're still holding yourself, and you're not being open, but you're expecting that in return, and you're accepting full acceptance for whatever it is that you're withholding. Like, hey, if I meet somebody and you don't tell me 6 months of the year you live in like Japan, well, get to know me first. Well, I don't want to deal with somebody who lives in Japan half of the year. Like, I have that right. There's nothing wrong with you living in Japan half of the year, but I need to know that so I can make a choice for me. So that's my rant on Damien and Carlton. I don't know how it'll affect it because, like I told you, I've only seen up to episode 3 and this was the end. So she has not responded yet. She just needs time to process. And even that, she was kind of rushing him. He was rushing her through, like, you're quiet now. And, you know, and it's like, of course she is. Give her a second to process as she would need with anything. So I don't know where they'll get to, but I know that that's that will be a point of contention for sure, and just kind of trying to figure that out. And then if she chooses to move forward, moving forward and trying to build trust from that point on, because it's so early on to kind of keep things, it's so early on to really like keep things from someone. I think the point of this experiment is to keep things like as transparent as they can be, because you don't have to hide. You're not even here, so I could really say anything. And it didn't go that way for them. So we'll see. I'm interested to see, though. I think this is a great show. Thank you guys for pushing me to do the reviews, because I really was like, I told my husband, I'm like, okay, they have found me in every capacity, so let me check this out. And it ended up being very interesting and just a nice break from what I think we've ever seen, the dynamic of what we've ever seen. So yeah, I'll be back with the next review for the next couple of episodes. Let me know what you thought so far, if you've seen it. If you're starting to watch, let me know what your thoughts are on who will end up together, or what you think about the couples. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like, and I will see you guys in the next review. Everyone have a great day.